All right. Let's. Oh my God, it looks bad. I might selectively edit this. That looks fucking terrible. I am John Beckman, Professor John Beckman, Dr. John Beckman, the father of Sid, the transgenic mother of sin, your hostess with the mostest. Get a green screen in the back. Hopefully it doesn't turn black. Half my brain tied behind my back, just to make it fair. All right. Demos. Other students in the past have requested more demonstrations on, I guess, what you would consider the intellectual framework of drawing, kind of like how your brain makes decisions about how to draw, how to make marks. How do you look at an image and decide how to make the marks? It's not something that's super easy to teach, but I do think I can contribute a little bit to the discussion. The first thing that people should consider, so today I'm going to discuss drawing from reference photos. Okay. I would really discourage you from ever tracing in this class. I don't think you should trace in this class. And the reason you should not trace is because when you are drawing, there's a necessary need to abstract. And if you're going to be way too tempted to just do things exactly as they are, if you're tracing. Sometimes tracing has its part, and sometimes tracing can be a clever trick, but you're not developing the intellectual framework to understand how to draw if you're just constantly tracing. So I would really discourage you from ever tracing in this class. You should really make the attempt to draw like freehand from reference. I would encourage you to have references, that's fine, but try not to trace. So I picked a variety of images that I think would be a fun, quick exercise, and I'm going to see how much of this I can do, how much of this I can get done quickly. One of the reasons these images are interesting to me is because it's not readily clear how one should draw cheese curds, fried cheese curds, or for instance, like a chili cheese dog. These shapes are odd in that they do not have clear, distinct lines. So one of the tricks to doing good art is understanding the limitations of the medium and understanding how to translate what you're trying to do into the framework of that medium. Okay. Drawing is a framework that can be implemented various ways. My inherent style of drawing is line work. So I'm very much in favor of like I do lines. I draw from lines. Other people draw from points. You can do that. Like you can do pointillism, you can draw from points. But I'm a line drawer, and I love cross hatching and things like that. That's where my roots are. So I'm going to try to approach this from that perspective and kind of show you how you do it. Now, what you need to understand is not every object or shape requires a line. That's the tricky part is looking at a reference photo and trying to figure out, okay, like what are the parts that require lines? So let's first do this, maybe like a part of this bug. And the reason I choose this bug as an example, as an easier example, is because there's very, very clear, definitive lines. Okay. Like I can draw this bug very easily because there's clear lines. So I would encourage you, look at the reference that you, whatever you pick, look at the reference, ask yourself, like, are there clear lines? Yes, obviously. Okay. So I'm going to start with those clear lines. Now look, okay, so I've drawn some lines. Now my inclination was to initially draw one line down, but then as I look here, I see that there's kind of like a little bulging segmented aspect of this. So I'm gonna push that. Very subtle in these antennae. Okay. Now we got to do the back one. I'm actually going to do a new layer for the background. I'm going to bring this below. And I'm going to draw that behind one. I have a choice here. What I'm deciding is, look, it's fuzzy in the back because the picture's out of frame. You have a choice. Should I draw it crystal clear or should I draw it fuzzy? I'm going to draw it crystal clear. If I wanted to draw it fuzzy, I could grab a fuzzy brush. But I'm not going to do that. But I'll show you a trick I'm going to do after I do that back antenna. Now I'm going to take this layer, decrease that opacity. Ooh, doesn't that look pretty? All right. Now, again, like I'm looking for lines. So I'm looking for the edges, like the edges of shapes. There's a clear edge of the eyeball. So like let's put in and there's a clear edge to the head. So let's put in that edge. Drawing line work is about drawing edges. And it's going to take a little bit to get the right proportions. Actually, I already made a mistake. Hang on. I need a smaller eraser. This like comes down and they like connect to like an antennae kind of like structure. And then that's actually what comes onto the head. So as you're drawing these things, you really need to pay. So like what I'm doing is I look at the object, I study it with my eyes. Okay, I look at it, I study it with my eyes. And I think, okay, like what is that shape? Like I'm looking at this, it's an oval. What does it connect to? How does it connect? Okay. And about what are its proportions? You try to get those calculations in your head, and then you try to complete the shape. That's not so bad. It's a little bit thick for a line. But I'm not going to worry about it. I'm going to do the eye. And all I notice in the eyes is this like white circle. The rest is just kind of like black. And there's some kind of like mouth kind of like apparatus thing. Not too worried about getting the structure perfectly. Now there's this little like connection thing, and it's black with some highlights. And then we got like a scutellum that connects to like a spot where the wing's gonna go. And then there's like a little pedestal for like the leg. Connects to the neck, something like that. All right. I'll save the wing for last. I'll put the wing on top. Let's get the little interesting, like a double spike. Let's draw the front spike first. A very interesting creature. Some kind of a ichneumoniid wasp or something. I don't know. 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 And then here's like the wasp, whatever it is. It might not be a wasp. I might be totally destroying my entomological expertise here. Whoever said I was an entomologist. And don't be so harsh on yourself. Like, people are way too harsh on their initial like drawings. You'll see in a second what I mean, I think. Those legs are like crossed. That's weird. I'm not gonna do that. Pretend his legs are like normal. That was bad. So here I need to adjust the image a little bit because what I drew wasn't quite fitting with the frame of the top. So like I'm adjusting. I'm changing here. Changing the pose a little bit. I'm not like too obsessed at this point with like getting everything perfect. This is kind of like my sketch stage. All right, let's put a wing in. There's actually two wings that fold over top. No, one wing comes underneath. It's bad. All right. Let's. Oh my God, it looks bad. I might selectively edit this. That looks fucking terrible. Don't hesitate to just destroy the whole thing. Let's just try to attempt. Let's just do the head for now until I get more warmed up. If we could just get that head good. That's not too bad. But when I look at the head, now I'm going to check the proportions quick. The antennae are not big enough. So I'm going to grab the lasso tool up here, the lasso tool. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to select these marks that are held in the antenna, and they're actually on 2 layers. I literally might just give up today, for fuck's sake. That looks better. So the important point there was this is fucking frustrating. Dig these antlers though, they are pretty sexy. One, two, three, four, five, 6, 7, 8, 9. Looks like 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. One more. Oops, wrong layer. 9. That's pretty good. I'm just doing a little gray. A little subtle gray wash. Ooh, that's pretty. I don't know if anybody's learning anything for this. This is just me. This is just me drawing. I'm too mad right now. I'm like defaulted. This has frustrated me, and I've defaulted into anger mode. So look at here. There's a choice of, do you do a sharp line when there's fuzz there? It doesn't call for a sharp line because there's fuzz. So I'm gonna do like this little. I'm gonna try this then. Just go tell him. But I will do like a more defined thing for the wing. And we have to be really careful about proportion. So here, what I'm looking at. So what was frustrating about that first one was the proportions were all off. Here I'm looking at the head. I'm looking at the bottom of the head and this part. And I'm noticing that this pedestal, which I'm trying to draw here, is just above at a line, the tip of that. So this should be lower a little bit. Like if I was to draw like a parallel line. So this should really be like here. And this should be right by the eye. So this looks more proportionately correct. So you try to like, it's hard to explain, but you try to do these measurements, these eye measurements of where's this in proportion to this, okay? And it's very important to get the proportions correct. It's not so bad. You know, there's some parts of this that are pretty dark. So I'll probably like, just kind of like quickly. Leave some of that fuzz. It gets a little darker here. I was trying to do this fast, and what I'm doing now is I'm really trying to go slow because it turned out to be a lot harder than I thought it was going to be. That was not my intention. I would have rather I want to draw the hot dog. It's pretty decent. Like sometimes when you're trying to do something that's so detailed, it's hard to know how much detail to throw into the quick drawing. You know what I mean? Like I'm thinking about like all this highlighting. Like I think I'm just gonna try to do that real quick. So I'm just gonna grab one of them special effects brushes, put it on white. Turn the opacity down, set a new layer. Anytime I'm trying like a new effect or something, I'll throw it on a new layer. And I'm just gonna try to speckle this, get that effect. Get it up there. Increase the opacity. Get some real white speckles. One more time. Full percent, 100%. Let's get some white speckles. Okay. That's pretty good. I'm gonna get some white speckles in here. And then I'm gonna clean it up. Not totally, but in the parts that matter. There. That's enough. Like that's enough to capture the effect of what's going on. You don't need to do it perfectly, but that's enough to like grab the effect. Let's go back to our Kyle's Ultimate inking brush. All right. Switch that back to black. Go back to the right layer. Now I'm debating how much of this I want to do. I'm going to turn the opacity down on the brush. There's some details in here that I'd like to capture. So I'm just going to kind of like get them with like a dark gray. They're really just kind of like color striation things like this. Something like this. So it is pretty dark. See, I'm defaulting to putting too much time into it. I didn't want to do that. But now my anger has subsided because that's pretty good. Like that's pretty good for this part. I don't think I want to do too much more. I want to move to the hot dog. But like that's how I would start approaching this. Okay, and you see how like I've already like started complexing layers of detail. Okay. You could finish, like, let's layer, new. Like, let's just like sketch on a layer. It could be really to finish this, I would sketch. I would do a sketch. You got something like this. The length of these is about the length of the it's about 1.5 of that body. So hard to tell without that other body drawn, that other part of the body. Let's get that spike drawn. That's not right. It's more like this. Like I'm sketching it for sure. I'm sketching it out, mapping it out. I should have done that in the first place. It was too complicated. Broke my own rule. Always do a sketch. Shut up, Dr. Beckman. This is hard. This comes out at you. This part of the body, it comes out at you. So it creates an effect on the leg that it's hard to capture. This one still feels so awkward. It's so difficult. That foreshortened leg that's coming out at you, really difficult. I think it's like here. Really difficult. That's better though. There you go. See, so I'm just erasing. That's not right. Erasing, that's not right. Erasing, that's not right. And putting it in the sketch. This is pretty good. Like I would pursue this more. This is the shape of the body that I'm coloring in. Let's try to see if we can see now how I want to finish it. Cause it's like now it's so close. But this was difficult. I'm not gonna lie. That was fucking challenging. Let's put these gray. Get a little movement, a little like cartoonish movement. No, I don't like that. They should be longer. Like this. All right. Let's do some more black. Put the opacity back up. We'll do some serious marks now. So this was not a good thing to quote unquote draw. There's no sharp lines. I mean that is what I was trying to demonstrate. In some contexts, you have to choose your reference photos very carefully. This one was extremely hard because there's not clear lines. Like there's not clear lines. And that makes drawing really difficult unless you have a lot of experience in how to handle these situations. I'm just going to gesture this. And now let's do a final, like let's shape this up. Let's get that special effects brush back. Actually, let's throw in the darks where they are. There's darks here. I'm thinking about shading. There's darks here. There's darks here. There's a highlight on the butt. I'll get that in a sec. There's darks here. And darks here. So I'm mapping out the darks. Now let's map out the speckles. The speckles again. Switch to white. Switch to one of them speckle brushes. Find the speckle layer. Let's put them on the speckle layer. Oh, it's got to be above. I got to put the layer above. I'm just going to try to clean it up, make it a little bit more organized if I can. A little bit clearer. I can't get rid of those. It makes it look awkward. Speckle the legs a little bit. That speckle is too much. So let's see what happens. Reduce the opacity of that layer a little bit, make it a little bit more subtle. Let's go back to our inking brush. And let's put some grays. Reduce the opacity. So I'm going to black, reduce the opacity. This should paint some darker grays. I can do some more molding with this. Because this really needs to have a little bit more shape to it and highlight to it. Especially like here. See, now I'm painting. I'm not drawing. This is painting. I didn't want to do that. I don't know how helpful this is going to be. That thing is messed up. All right, like this is enough. Let's test this. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna merge these layers. I'm curious to see how well I did. Erase this crap. I think we got everything. Let's see, let's shrink this down. Oh, let's shrink it down proportionally. What's over here? Why is it? Let's see how close we were. We could even, if you hold shift, I can adjust the proportions so that it is not being adjusted. I can go squish it or fatten it out. I can actually use this to make it a little bit more accurate. And because it's an insect, the proportions, people don't detect those deficiencies as much. That's pretty good. Bada bing. That's not bad, but I still want bigger antlers. I'm gonna fix that real quick. Whew, that was frustrating. My gosh. I apologize if I have offended you. We like these big antlers. Zoom out. What are these things on the side that are holding pixels? There we go. Woo, that's pretty. That's not bad. That's not bad. I've redeemed myself for a sketch in, oh my God, that was 36 minutes. Oh, fuck's sake. Oh my gosh. Okay, let's do a quick hot dog. So what I want, I'm gonna do this drawing style, hot dog, drawing style. Maybe I'll edit this to be first and I'll leave the complicated shit last. All right, hot dog. Let's let's bang it out. Layer, new, layer. Let's name it hot dog. The clear defined part of the hot dog is going to be the bun. Let's make the opacity full percent. Let's bang out the bun. The bun's got cracks, kind of like the bone. It's forgiving. Look at that edge. Got some like funky edges. Put in some of them cracks. Something like this. Something like this. A little crease here. Little kind of thing like that here. All right, let's see if we can get some. We want to suggest. There's no lines in the chili. Okay. So we need to draw the onions. There are lines on onions. You can see the sharp definitive onion lines. So we can draw the onions. Like that's a spot where there's easily lines. But the chili, there's no definitive line. Okay. It needs to be suggested, which is why I'm suggesting the chili topping by doing these kind of like things like this. Okay. Now, if we don't put the tip of that hot dog, nobody's going to understand that this drawing is a hot dog. So we need to do a definitive line on the tip of that hot dog. And people know hot dogs because of this like crease on the tip. Okay, I knew drawing the hot dog was going to be fun. Now let's define the other part of that bun. Bang out the bun. That's fucking terrible. My God. I thought this was supposed to be like a how to draw. I'm just drawing some shit. If I painted this, I could make it better. So maybe this is just a case where we need to adapt. It's not done yet. If you see something like this, don't be judgmental on yourself. Don't be so judgmental on yourself. Just say, look, it looks like trash, but it's not done yet. It's not done. So now it's time for me to make it done. Sometimes what you intend is not what you get, and you gotta pull the audible. So I'm gonna do some painting here. It's gotta be done. I'll paint this bun. And then everybody should know what it is. I'll clean it up later. Oh my gosh, that is white. Yeah, this is what I'm looking for. Again, like if it looks like trash, you're not done. Don't stop until you're satisfied. Oh my gosh, that is a purple dog. Now there is no confusing. That, sir, is a hot dog. Now we know. So I'm using the eyedropper tool to gather the proper colors. And I'm putting these by the creases. highlight those creases. I'll probably put them in the onion. Maybe I'm going too fast. You will get there. You will get there. Don't worry. This is, oh gosh, this is the chili is, that's difficult. How can I do the chili? Chili's got some black pits in it. Let's color some of these pits black. And then some lighter brown for the rest of it. That is not the right color. I'll show you. We'll fix this. It's almost like the bun color. I'll show you how to fix this. So I understand. I'm telling you, I understand that this is not the correct color to paint the chili. I understand that. But let me show you how we fix it. You first just lay a base color. Something to work off of. Okay. Then take a black, reduce the opacity, and let's do some molding of this chili. Mold some of these regions. Let's get some white. Some highlight regions. Let's actually, the highlights need to be pure white. There's definitely like some greasy areas of the chili. Oh God, chili is difficult. It looks like mustard. It's not brown enough. I need the brown. Give me some brown. But not too much brown. That just looks gray. But maybe on the edges. How do we get that brown? I'm just like working it. Like I'm just keeping trying. I'm keep trying to work it to the right color. That looks like a dirty hot dog. That looks like a dirty hot dog. Okay, let's get some highlights quick. So here, we should cut our losses. Like, that's pretty good. I didn't match the color correctly on the chili. The chili was extremely difficult. But here's where we pivot and we say, I wasn't trying to do that hot dog. I was trying to do a dirty, nasty looking hot dog. That's what I was going for. All right, let's merge our layers. Just double down. Be like, yeah, that's what I intended. Let's see, proportion wise. Let me see. Let's get that. Let's make it look good. Something like that. Bam. Do I just cut my, I'm just going to cut my losses here. It's already 45 minutes. Hot dog, chili cheese hot dog, and some kind of a parasitoid wasp. I will not do the cheese curd. I'm done. I'm not doing no more. And I've had enough for today.
Investigate real time.